19, it was my first summer home from college, and it was the first weekend, actually, that I was home from my freshman year of college. And a whole bunch of us who had seen each other a long time, we got together to have a drink and celebrate. Everybody had gone different places. So that's the beginning of my evening, was having a bunch of drinks. And then the morning after for me wasn't so much the morning after, it was like midnight, 12:15, and the first thing I remember is waking up, coming to, depending on how you want to think about it, laid over in the backseat of a car, hands cuffed behind my back, and I looked kind of up and out the back glass and could see flashing lights, kind of like cop flashing lights. And as alarming as that can be, I fell right back to sleep. And then the next thing I remember, I'm standing in this little room with a guy in a sort of cop-ish outfit, and he's asking me a bunch of questions. I don't really remember what we talked about. It wasn't that interesting. He went through, I think, my wallet, fingerprinted me, I think, took my picture, kind of, whole rigmarole. And then we go in another room, and it's a kind of a big white room, not a lot in there, and there's a big glass, that like bullet resistant glass. I don't think it's bulletproof, I think it's like resistant. And then the half moon window, like at SEPTA, right? And I'm not getting a ticket, obviously, or like at the bank. So he says to me, "You're charged with third-degree assault and resisting arrest." And I was like, "Whoa, sounds pretty serious." And he says, "Your bail is $12.50." And I was like, "Okay, I got that," right? So I go to my wallet because I have a 20. And he's like, "No, dude, it's $1,250. And I was like, I don't have that. He's like, "Of course you don't have that." So I began doing the math, right? I'm thinking, I'd seen these, this is the early 90s, so there weren't as many cop shows then as there are now, so it was harder to know what to do. But I went through the Rolodex of Law and Order, I think was all I had, and that was boring. I didn't hardly watch it. My folks did. But I was thinking, like, oh, it's bail bondsman. I don't have $250. I don't even have $125, which I think is what I need. And suddenly I just blurted out, well, how long would I have to stay? And the guy was kind of taken aback, and he's like, well, it's Saturday night. If we can't hold you longer than 18 hours, like, whatever, did a lot of math. But if the DA people don't come in tomorrow and press charges, you'll be out tomorrow, 18 hours from now. I didn't really understand how much distance 18 hours was from where I was standing, but it seemed like a good deal. I was like, well, I don't have to mess around with the math. I don't have to think about my bank account, which I knew didn't have that in it, and who to get the money, etc. So I was like, cool, I'll just stay. And he was like, oh, okay, fine. So they take me in yet another room, take all my clothes off, and take my personal effects, and then they give me a costume that is, it's like scrubs that are green. They say Greene County Jail on the back. Well, I couldn't see the back, but I saw it on the other guy I was in the room with. And then I had flip-flops, and they gave me a little bag, right, with like toothbrush, a little piece of deodorant, can't remember what else, but as if I was going on a trip, right? They're like, here you go, here's your little bag. And they walk me down the hall, and they open the door, and they say, here you go, find a bunk. And I go in, it's dark, I'm still so hammered, I can barely stand up. But I see there's some bunks, I pick one that's empty, I climb up in it, and fall asleep. So finally, the morning after, when I wake up, I've missed breakfast, which I'm annoyed by, which the other 5 guys in there, who were interesting people, let me know that I'd missed it. But otherwise, I had a pretty good day. I went and had lunch with my new friends. Lunch was interesting because they'd give you silverware, but they have to give it right back when you finish eating. And the guy across from me, he asked, are you going to eat that? And I just slid the whole tray, right, because he was big. And I didn't know who he was. And I think he really meant, like, if you're not going to eat that, I'll eat it. But I was like, oh, no, you can have the whole thing. And then I learned to play spades. I'd always played hearts. I never understood spades. But the 5 guys I was with, 3 of them were playing spades. And they're like, hey, you want to play spades? I'm like, sure. And so we played games. And then you have to bet to make it interesting, right? So if you don't have any money, which you don't in the county jail, you bet for push-ups. So I did probably 200 push-ups because I'm not very good at spades. I just learned how to play. So I'm exercising, I'm eating, playing game. I was like, this is not that bad. I don't quite know what everybody's talking about. The guys were really interesting. Two of the guys were waiting to go to the state pen. They were going to be moved on Monday. Two of the guys were like high school best friends, hadn't seen each other in 10 years. Sat and reminisced for like an hour and a half. And when I reminisce with my high school friends, it's like, oh, remember when we drank like 2 beers and ran over a mailbox? These guys were like, remember we smoked all that meth? We stole your mom's car. We ran from the police, and then we drove the car off the rock quarry cliff into the pond to hide the car. And went to juvie for like 5 years. That was their reminiscing, which is obviously very different than what I would do. And then one other guy towards the end of the evening, he had said several first-degree assaults. He was waiting to go to trial. They couldn't post bail. He'd been there for probably 8 or 9 months, older black man. And we were standing at the end looking out the little thin windows through which you can see freedom thinly. And he said, yeah, and you're going to be out there in a little bit. And I was like, yeah, we'll be. And in my head, I was like, and you will not be. You could be here for the rest of your life. And he said, can you contact my sister or check with the attorney, whatever? And I was like, yeah, of course I would do that. And then at 8:45, 9 o'clock, like they said, they came and got me and called my name. And I left. And it was reasonably fine. And for years, that story was funny, right? It was a funny story. It's what happened. It's great for that 2 truths and a lie story, or that 2 truths and a lie game. My 11-year-old's always playing, because I just threw out, like, Brad Pitt went to my high school, spent time in jail, climbed Mount Everest, and people are like, oh my God, I can't figure it out. So it was good for that, but what I realize now, looking back, it's really like, it was really, the whole thing was like, privileged white guy triathlon, right? What I didn't tell you about was, so I got hammered, went to this party near this house where I used to date this girl, and I was like, oh, I'll go see her, and instead of going out and around the street, I'll just cut through 8 backyards going over privacy fences, scraped up both sides, and somebody would have got shot for that, right? Like, if it hadn't been sort of me in the part of the country I was in, and then when the cops came, I did get to her house, I threw a rock at the window, she wasn't even there. But her parents called the police because somebody had broken into the house across the street 2 weeks before. And the sheriff people come out, and I'm laying there. I'm a big guy. I played college football, so I was 220 pounds. I mean, it wasn't like huge, but I was bigger than I am now. And they go to wake me up, and they can't rouse me. So finally, the guy kicks me, and I jump up, and I push him, and I call him, goddamn sons of bitches, which you could easily get killed for. So, for me, it was just like, oh, and we'll take you to jail, and you'll have a nice Sunday. So the point is, for me, it's nice to have a morning after, and to be able to be here to tell my morning after story, because I think a lot of people, their morning after story is coming from the surviving somebody. So anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.